Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you 4 common underlying causes of fibromyalgia. Let me be clear before I get into this that every fibromyalgia patient that I have ever treated has multiple layers of dysfunction, depending on their genetic, their travel, social, and health history. Now, I'm going to quickly share 4 common conditions that I frequently see, and then I'm going to give you a very quick laundry list of additional problems that I see in the fibromyalgia patient. And again, keep in mind that not every fibromyalgia patient is the same. Not every fibromyalgia patient has the same underlying issues, although there are often things in common between fibromyalgia patients. We have to recognize that just like each individual is different, of course, each fibromyalgia patient is different as well, with different backgrounds and different social activities. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to share quickly one of the most profound things you need to know about fibromyalgia, and I'll share this at length in a video in the near future. The biggest mistake you can make when you've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia is that there's one thing wrong with you. You may have heard it was a nerve issue, like your nerve sensitivity is compounded and increased. And that may be true. Or you may have had a neurological dysfunction. And again, that may be true. But if you believe there's just one thing wrong, it's going to keep you a prisoner of that diagnosis because you basically feel helpless. You don't know what the problem is, so you have no idea what to do or where to turn. And if you believe that, again, it will keep you a prisoner to the diagnosis of fibromyalgia. Now, I tell you from clinical experience that fibromyalgia is always caused by multiple layers of dysfunction. There's not one thing wrong with you. Those layers have to be peeled back like the layers of an onion, usually by a qualified functional medicine practitioner. While the exact etiology of fibromyalgia may not be fully understood, functional medicine explores potential underlying factors that may contribute to the development or the exacerbation of the condition. And here are 4 common causes of fibromyalgia from a functional medicine point of view. One is chronic inflammation, the other is adrenal dysfunction, then it's mitochondrial dysfunction, and then neurotransmitter imbalances. Now, chronic inflammation is persistent inflammation in the body, and it's considered a significant factor in fibromyalgia. It can arise from various sources, including poor diet, food sensitivities, gut dysbiosis, which is an imbalance in gut bacteria, chronic infections, or environmental toxins. Reducing inflammation through dietary changes, addressing gut health, and identifying and treating underlying infections can be important in managing fibromyalgia symptoms. Guys, that is powerful. You may want to rewind that just a bit and listen to that again. All of those things contribute to the exacerbation of fibromyalgia and gut dysfunction and inflammation. Number 2, adrenal dysfunction. Dysregulation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which controls the body's stress response, can contribute to fibromyalgia. Chronic stress, whether physical, emotional, or environmental, can lead to HPA axis dysfunction, resulting in adrenal fatigue. Some of you may have heard that before, an imbalance in cortisol and other stress hormones. Restoring this HPA axis balance through stress management techniques, lifestyle modification, and appropriate supplementation can be beneficial. Then there's mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are responsible for energy production in the cell. Dysfunction in these energy factories can contribute to the fatigue and decreased energy levels experienced by individuals with fibromyalgia. Factors like nutrient deficiencies, oxidative stress, environmental toxins, and certain medications can impair mitochondrial function. Supporting mitochondrial health through proper nutrition, antioxidants, targeted supplements, and reducing toxin exposure can be important in managing fibromyalgia symptoms. neurotransmitter imbalances. Neurotransmitters are chemical messengers that facilitate communication between nerve cells. Imbalances in neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine have been associated with fibromyalgia. Factors such as genetic predispositions, chronic stress, nutrient deficiencies, and impaired detoxification pathways can contribute to these imbalances. Balancing neurotransmitter levels through targeted supplementation, lifestyle modification, stress reduction, and addressing nutrient deficiencies may help alleviate fibromyalgia symptoms. So it's important to note that these causes may interact and influence each other. Remember, I said there are always multiple levels of dysfunction, and this may contribute to the complexity of fibromyalgia. Functional medicine aims to identify and address these underlying factors to support the individual's overall health and well-being. Consulting with a qualified functional medicine practitioner can provide personalized guidance and treatment, and personalization is the key for you to get better and to overcome these obstacles. Now, even with these four common factors of fibromyalgia, it still leaves you with the question, what's causing the inflammation? And we touched on that. What's causing the adrenal dysfunction? And we touched on that. What causes the mitochondrial dysfunction? We talked about that. And what causes the neurotransmitter imbalances? So as a functional medicine practitioner, you can never stop digging. You have to find out what the underlying cause is. So let me answer a few of those questions once again with broad strokes in the next 60 seconds. So the standard American diet is absolutely at the core of all these underlying issues, as well as the stress that we allow in our lives emotionally as well as physiologically. That means the stress that happens because of the dysfunction within you. You've no doubt heard it said that you are what you eat. Well, that is absolutely true, but that's not the only thing we're dealing with. We're dealing with genetically modified foods. We're swimming in an absolute cesspool of toxins. So I'm talking about environmental toxins that can cause inflammation, stress, which causes the adrenals or the adrenal dysfunction. And this affects the cells, which eventually corrupts your mitochondria and causes neurotransmitter imbalances. So I see multiple food sensitivities. I see yeast or candida overgrowth, which is a fungal overgrowth. I see environmental toxins as well as heavy metal toxicity. There's an abundance of mold toxicity in fibromyalgia patients. Many have underlying autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or lupus, or scleroderma, or rheumatoid arthritis, even MS. We see pathogenic bacteria living in the gastrointestinal tract, as well as bacterial dysbiosis, which is a disproportional amount of bad bacteria to good bacteria. We see underlying viral infections that the fibromyalgia patient may not even know is there. Hippocrates said that all disease begins in the gut. And I don't know that that's 100% true, but he's definitely onto something, because the gut is like the hub of a wheel that has spokes to every area of your body. Then finally, some of the triggers and the things that have pushed people over the edge toward the diagnosis of fibromyalgia can be physical trauma, like a car accident, something traumatic in their lives, as well as emotional trauma, the death of a loved one, death of a relationship, a divorce, as well as physical or emotional abuse. Now, let me say that if you're struggling with fibromyalgia and you want to get better, the traditional approach, the traditional medical approach, is simply not equipped to help you. And I think you've probably found that out by now. I have dealt with women and men that have suffered and struggled with fibromyalgia literally for 20, 30, and 40 years. And it is a shame and a travesty that these people were left to live in misery all those years without getting the help they needed. Now, you need someone to help you look deeper into your history, determine what the most likely underlying causes are, and then do some advanced lab testing. And then and only then will you find the underlying cause of your fibromyalgia. But it can happen. And I'll tell you, the good news is even these people that have struggled for decades get better once you uncover the underlying issues. So if I can help you, I would be happy to do that. It may be hard to believe, but once you find the underlying causes, the treatment is the easiest part. And within 30 or 60 or 90 days, you get your life back. Now, if you would, like the video, click the bell so you know when new material comes out. This helps us to share what we know with the fibromyalgia community. And you must know that there's a ton of information out there, and much of it just confuses you. What I'm sharing with you is not my opinion. It is literally what we have found out in a clinical setting, serving hundreds of fibromyalgia patients, seeing them recover. And we've taken what we've learned and now we're applying it nationwide. Nationwide. We do a free consultation if you're serious about getting better. And I will say it's unfortunate, but insurance doesn't cover functional medicine. So there is a cost involved. But if you can afford to do some of the lab testing, boy, it will really shed some light on your underlying condition. So thank you so very much for your time and attention. I'll leave my clinic information in the description. Reach out if you're interested. Thanks so much. God bless you and have a great day.
If you are struggling with a chronic condition and would like more information, feel free to visit www.birminghamfunctionalmedicine.com. You are also welcome to set up a phone or Zoom consultation with Dr. Dailey at www.talktodrd.com.